Hello, avid readers, book nerds, or casual observers. Welcome to the read-along brought to you by the Lit Round Table. I'm Joseph.
And I'm Anna, and this is our read-along of The Stone Sky by N.K. Jemisin.
Welcome to Book 3.
New read-along, who dis?
I feel like you said that for the first episode of the last one.
Did
or
I?
I did.
Probably did.
I feel like one of us did. But that's okay. The Stone Sky.
Stone Sky. I realized that I did not... Well, okay. When I made the schedule, you guys, I somehow missed that there was a prologue. So I hope you read the prologue for today. And then I also missed, somehow, that there's a Syl Anagist 5 before Chapter 3.
Indeed.
Hopefully you did not read that for today. But if you did, that's okay. We're going to talk about it next week.
So for this, it's just prologue through Chapter 2. Stop once 2's over.
Correct. So sorry.
It's all good. I had texted Anna earlier today. I was like, hey, where do I stop reading?
And I was like, great question. I would love to tell you. Because I was also surprised by the prologue this morning when I started listening.
Yeah. Oops. It's all good.
So, yeah.
It's all good.
Anyway,
man.
Speaking of, would you like to hear the titles for today's section?
I would love to.
Okay, we've got our prologue, which was called Me When I Was I.
Trippy
Hoa section. He starts referring to her as my love, which I have funny
I'm confused.
feelings about.
Yeah.
Chapter 1, You in Waking and Dreaming.
Mm-hmm.
So that's our Essun chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I didn't write these down, so I gotta flip through the pages. 2, Nassun Feels Like Busting Loose.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah.
Who do you want to talk about first?
Prologue, I suppose.
Prologue.
Let's just take it. They're all three different things. We can just take them in order, I suppose.
Sure. We can do that.
So, yeah, man, prologue. Hoa.
Biggest takeaway is that Hoa has abbreviated his name because he found the extra letters pointless, which I thought was very funny.
I concur. They were pointless letters. HOA is much easier.
Agreed. No, we got to see him as like a kid before he was a stone eater, briefly.
Yeah.
That was wild.
A city like with an obelisk in the center of it, and like talking about how different the world was. This is before the moon got yeeted into space. So
he's the one who yeeted into space, the moon.
This is what he says.
I said that sentence really dumb.
Well, we understand what you meant. It's all good.
Oh,
he was the one that he took responsibility in the prologue for being the person who made the moon go away, which I'm curious if it was like him legitimately like personally that like pushed the button that made the moon go away, or if it was like maybe a group of people that he was involved with. I don't know.
Well, didn't he also say that he was the one who made the Obelisk Gate?
Oh, if he did, I missed that.
Maybe I misheard it.
I did listen to
in awe
most of this.
Of everything in the prologue. I kind of wanted to listen to it again, but I didn't have time.
It was trippy. Because we started getting some like first person, like I, me, instead of second person.
Mm-hmm.
But it was cool getting to see a glimpse into past Earth. The ending was super creepy when the Earth said burn after that was also really creepy on the audiobook.
It was. It really was. There was also the really cool description of describing the architecture as spider webs.
Mm-hmm. He compared the cities to mold, like the way they grew.
Hold on, I want to see if I can find that line, because there was something about bugs.
there's a lot of like mind-bendy things of like, well, you would never like fully understand how these buildings were made because like you're from a time when, in my mind, it's like they didn't use glass or metal like for building as much. They used stone because of like their laws and like how to survive in a season. Metal rusts, but this is before all that,
Yeah.
so I imagine this
Okay.
crazy kind of like sci-fi utopia situation with advanced technology and hovercrafts.
So here's part. All over the three lands, wherever there is a large enough node of Syl Anagist, an obelisk sits at the center of each. They dot the face of the world, 256 spiders in 256 webs, feeding each city and being fed in turn. Webs of life, if you want to think of them that way. Life you see is sacred in Syl Anagist.
Because we know that life is where magic comes from.
Yeah.
So every big city had one of these obelisks that was like a magical conduit of some sort. And they were like, this is before they were ancient and broken and janky, and they were like fully functioning.
Yeah.
Which then the socket in Jimenez was like that. So that dead civ used to be like a really big city then underneath Jimenez, and that socket must be where the obelisk was in that city.
Yeah. Sorry, it's so creepy.
Yeah. The prologue was creepy.
Um,
It was cool.
when a man dies, it should be devastating to a girl who once called him father, but this becomes as nothing when she has been called monster so many times that she finally embraces the label, which we literally see in Nassun's chapter.
Man.
Um,
Yep.
I'm so sorry. I got distracted looking for one specific thing, but this whole prologue is just so full of amazing and devastating statements. When a slave rebels, it is nothing much to the people who read about it later. Just thin words on thinner paper, worn finer by the friction of history. So you were slaves, so what? They whisper, like it's nothing. But to the people who lived through a slave rebellion, both those who take their dominance for granted until it comes for them in the dark, and those who would see the world burn before enduring one moment longer in their place. And then he goes, that is not a metaphor, Essun. Not hyperbole. I did watch the world burn. Say nothing to me of innocent bystanders, unearned suffering, heartless vengeance. When a calm builds atop a fault line, do you blame its walls when they inevitably crush the people inside? No, you blame whoever was stupid enough to think they could defy the laws of nature forever.
Yeah, that whole section, especially talking about, because again, like the obvious social commentary about like
Yes.
the history of slavery.
Don't lament when those worlds fall. Rage that they were built, doomed in the first place.
Yeah,
It's
very
giving me
quotable
goosebumps.
lines. Very quotable lines in this prologue.
Ugh, I'm so sorry. I got caught up in it.
No,
It's so
valid.
good
So good.
and devastating.
Such good writing.
I hope that N.K. Jemisin wrote those words and she thought, this is poetry.
Mm-hmm.
Because it is.
It totally is. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I got goosebumps now. That's all I can think about.
You got the chills.
And there was so much more. There's like a half a page left.
Mm-hmm.
And it's full of that. And basically, it's Hoa telling Essun, hey, I'm going to tell you how this all fell apart and how I was a part of it. And he did say that he opened the gate to fling the moon away. So he didn't create the gate, but he opened it. Like she did.
And now he's a stone eater. So like, Mm-hmm. And then the earth said, burn. Ooh.
Yeah.
I kind of want to find that part just to...
It's right. I was right where I was at.
I have it. I will tell you everything of how later, as the quiet of death descended, I whispered, right now, and the earth whispered back, burn. Oh, that's so creepy.
Yeah, it is.
The Earth is a sentient thing, and it like talks to people. That's so creepy.
Yeah. I'm thinking and hoping that the Syl Anagist chunks that we get are going to be Hoa history.
I
I'm
think they
guessing.
are. I think that's how they're going to function. They're going to be flashbacks to pre fifth seasons, like before the moon got flung away, and I'm really curious to read more of those for sure.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
So yeah, the prologue was haunting and beautiful, and then we have the Essun chapter. They kind of smoothly transition into each other.
Yeah, because we're getting the impression that the prologue all happened while, like, in Essun's dream, while she's in a
Right.
coma.
Right. Because as Essun is kind of flittering in and out of consciousness, she remembers the city and the obelisk and Hoa, and it's just a vision that she had while she's been rebooting, as Hoa said.
Yes, yes. When she does finally come to, the calm is on the move. Ika is not real keen on keeping Essun around because she's a burden.
And
they
she's
have to
also
keep
pissed
carrying her.
that their old comm got destroyed.
Which, okay. I understand that she's frustrated that their comm was destroyed. But that was also literally her plan.
And it was going to happen whether, like, they were not going to be able to stay there, like, no
No.
matter what.
And they
Because-
knew that. So I'm
Yeah.
not really sure why she's being so butthurt about it.
I'm hoping that we get some kind of, like, conversation between the two of them that, like, makes it make sense. Because right now, it, like, I don't understand why she's so angry at Essun specifically.
Right. Like, and maybe she's projecting. Maybe she's mad at herself that that was the last, like, that was the final solution that they had to resort to.
Maybe she's
I don't
mad she
know.
had to rely on Essun so much and she wasn't able to do it herself
Right.
because she wanted to take that responsibility of, like, if this place is going down, it's going to be because I said so.
Well, and also, her original plan would have left her dead. Like,
She
it
would
would
have
have
died,
used
yeah.
her up. So now she's having to keep going and deal with the consequences of this choice.
Maybe she had her heart set on Blaze of Glory.
Maybe.
You know?
Maybe. Could be.
I thought it was sweet that pointy teeth lady, sharp teeth lady,
Yurka? We've
Yurka,
got Ika and Yurka.
and Tonki.
Honky.
Yurka was the one that was there when she woke up, when Essun woke up, and I thought that was kind of sweet.
Yeah.
And Tonki, I loved the moment where she was like, "Oh, do you want me to tell you about some of the theories that some of my colleagues had about the obelisks and why they were where they were?" And then she's just like, "No." And Tonki's like, "Well, she still has her faculties. She's
Yeah.
capable of sane thought."
Right. Right.
Funny. Super funny. Super funny. But yeah. There's some stuff with Lerna. Basically, she's just getting caught up. Lerna's like, "Yeah, Hoa told
Yeah.
us about the comm that you, like, wiped out, and now we're gonna go move in there." All this good stuff. But she realizes that her arm is a rock.
Right. And then Lerna gives her two options on how to deal with the rock arm. Either we're going to take a sledgehammer to it, or you can have Hoa eat it. Because it's messing up your shoulder.
It's heavy.
Also, we had that really funny, not funny, but funny part where he took a sample from Alabaster. And Alabaster was like, "Oh, you better give that back to, what's her name?
Antimony.
Antimony when you're done." And Essun's like, "My guess is he wasn't really kidding." And he's like, "I didn't think he was. I gave it back to her right away."
Yeah. Nom 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 nom.
Okay, and then there was, so finally Hoa comes back, and she says that he can eat her arm, and he takes her away so they don't have to do it in front of the other people. And then he says the thing where he says, it's not sustenance.
Yeah.
So what is it?
Yeah, we don't know yet. I think that is yet to be revealed, but I'm so confused as to why.
Right?
Because, like, he munches on rocks, and, like, he can become, like, weakened. And then, because our whole theory was, like, you're munching on people rocks because, like, life powers magic or whatever, and, like, it's, like, munching batteries, right? Like, you become juiced after that.
Right.
That was our line of thought, which maybe that can still be true, and it's not, like, sustenance. It's not like I need this to survive. It's just I need this to stay strong, like, magically, or strong to get stronger. I don't know. But there's definitely something. There's definitely something about why the Stone Eaters eat the limbs of these people that start turning into stone.
So my other thought is, Stone Eaters were originally people, right? So what if this is a population control method? Except that Alabaster came back.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah, Alabaster became a Stone Eater anyway.
I don't know.
Yeah, there's still too much. It's too fuzzy around, like, how you become a Stone Eater. Like, Alabaster was eaten and became one. So is it like I don't know, some weird, like, birthing thing? Like, like, I like to become a vampire. You have to be bitten by a vampire.
Yeah, no, my face is just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Maybe. That's possible. I don't know.
So Antimony pooped out Alabaster.
That's not where babies come from.
Yeah. After eating him, and he came out a Stone Eater. That's the current theory.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very perplexed. He said that, and I was like, wait, huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Hopefully this will be revealed in
Sure it will
future
be.
chapters. But yeah, lots of... So they're heading to the new place. They've been traveling for a while. She's not in a coma anymore. Her arm's getting munched on. And she still wants to go try to get Nassun, but she knows that Yika will not be a fan of that right now.
Oh, yeah. She's got to be a little careful.
Yeah,
Honky
like
warns her, like, dude, shut up.
She's on some thin ice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so... And then speaking of Nassun...
Okay. Did we know that she turned her dad into a pile of sparkling rocks, or was that a new revelation?
I think we did. Well, that he got turned to stone, but I think that maybe, like, he fell and crumbled.
Yeah. Sorry, my neighbor's mowing.
Oh, it's raining here, so, like,
Okay.
you might hear some stuff, people. Sorry. Cannot control the elements.
No.
But, we knew that she killed her dad with the sword,
Yes.
the obelisk sword, and that he did turn to stone.
Right. I was just surprised when she was like, oh my gosh, and then my dad was in my feet as, like, gemstones. I was like, wait. What?
Yeah. But then we get a cool fight scene.
We do.
The two guardians show up and fight against Steel. Her, Steel, and Shafa are against these two guardians. And, man, Stone Eater's fighting is creepy. Like...
It was interesting, like, halfway through the fight, Nassun made the comment that Steel had at least made it clear that he wasn't immediately an enemy or an ally. Like, he was kind of helping her, but not helping her as much as he could have.
I think that
Until he ate the Guardian's head.
yeah, he like ate the metal shard in the Guardian's head,
Well,
and
that too.
Shafa ripped the
Yeah.
one out of the other guys. But yeah, we had like this Shafa versus the other guy who was basically like two superhumans fighting each other, so that's cool. And then there's
You
the
know what it
other one.
reminded me of?
Hmm.
It reminded me of Killua in Hunter x Hunter sticking his hand through people.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Anyway,
for sure.
that's it.
I see. But then we've got the Stone Eater like Steel fighting against the other girl guardian, which I forget their names. But the just that he was there, and then suddenly he was in front of Nassun, and this like the sound of like the displaced air like caused like a clap. I was like, this bro
Mm-hmm.
like broke the sound barrier with his
Mm-hmm.
body. It was like he practically teleported,
Mm-hmm.
and just like vice grip, just like got this guardian by the throat, and she couldn't get out. And it made me think like that's terrifying, thinking of like suddenly your neck is encased in like a literal statue's hand, and like you cannot wiggle your way out of it. Like a
Yeah.
person's hand is like flesh and bone and organic and bendable, but like
Yeah.
if a statue grabs you, like you're done.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
grabbed, and you cannot be ungrabbed until the statue decides otherwise.
Right.
That's freaky.
Yeah. Nason has this moment where she tells the Guardian that she doesn't want to hurt her.
Mhm.
And then there's also several moments where she realizes that both of the other two Guardians are not in control of their bodies anymore.
When Shafa was fighting the one and like
Mm-hmm.
deals it a mortal blow, like
Mm-hmm.
like fingers up through the face under the jaw, and the
Mm-hmm.
guy is like still like his eyes are rolled back, but his limbs are still moving. He's like twitching and still trying to fight Shafa, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, you're like a zombie.
Yeah,
You're
for
like,
sure.
uh, uh, you're being
For
puppeted,
sure.
and the other girl is like talking. Uh, I think I can't tell whether she was talking to Steele or to Nassun personally, but as she was
She
trying to
was
talk,
saying things that did not make sense.
yet like maybe they will make
Right.
sense.
I'm sure they will make sense
Yeah.
eventually. But at this point, they did not make sense, which makes me think she was talking to Steele. I think that this was Evil Earth talking
Hmm.
to the Stone Eater.
Yeah. But then Steele's like chomp.
Which Nason looked away from.
Yeah.
She was like, even though I just killed my dad and I've seen all these horrible things, there are even some things that I can't bear to watch. And I was like, that's really fascinating.
I think what the wording specifically was like, there's only so much violence my like 11-year-old mind can handle.
Uh-huh.
like having these moments of like, oh yeah, you're like not even a teenager yet.
Mm-hmm.
You're an adolescent. You are
Mm-hmm.
a child.
Yeah.
Not that teenagers aren't children, but you know what I mean. You're like a
Yeah. Prepubescent child.
yes, like
Mm-hmm.
man.
Mm-hmm.
Trauma.
So much.
But so now we've got this weird trio of Shafa, Steele, and Nassun, and
Yeah.
and they're going. So okay, where do you think they're going? Because
I have no
Nas-
idea.
because Nason's like, I know a place where I can go to basically steal control of the Obelisk Gate from Mom. Um, I'm like, is she gonna try to go to that city on the other side of the planet
I have no
to
idea. I have no idea.
like the
Maybe.
Dead Civ city where Alabaster talked about in the last book? Like, I'm trying to think, where is she going to try to go to steal control from her mom? She says it's far away.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll see. That's my theory, though. She's gonna. Well, if they do that, they'll have to go via Stone Eater because that's how Alabaster got there. It's not like they can swim across an ocean. So
Yeah. Oh, the sapphire sword. When Shafa asks her about it, She's like, I don't know. It just knew that I needed it to be a sword.
Yeah. And now it's here. A
Oh
sword.
dear.
Oh, the one that Essun had, that was a sword, turned back into an obelisk while she was in a coma and is hovering nearby.
It's following her.
Yes, like a lost puppy. But, yeah.
So much to learn yet.
Yes. We still don't know about, like, where the Guardians... where the Guardians come from. Like, we don't know how Stone Eaters are made officially. We're starting to learn stuff about Earth before the moon left. We still don't know, like... There's a lot we don't know about this whole evil Earth thing. Because there's a point in the prologue where someone says evil death, not evil Earth. So, like, they had some different idea of who is the big cosmic big bad of the universe in their world.
Right.
To them, it was evil death, but now it's evil Earth because, I mean, the Earth is what brings death in this world now, with the seasons and whatnot. But fascinating stuff. So for next time, we do need to start at that Syl chunk.
Yes.
And then we read through what?
Read Syl Anagist 5 through Syl Anagist 4.
Clear as mud. Read until you see the number 5 in big bold.
Chapter 5 specifically.
Yeah. Cool. Well, looking forward to it. Looking forward to learning more in the next section. I guess until next time, happy reading.
And we'll talk to you next time.
Later.
Bye.